Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode review of The Bad Batch. Today I am taking a look at War Mantle and I'm just gonna play this clip real quick. It's interesting looking at why they chose to re-release this now, and I wonder if it's a prelude to something more in the near future. Previous re-releases of classic Star Wars games haven't amounted to much, but it is interesting to look at what's going on as of the time that this is being put out. Not to mention that the spiritual successors to Delta Squad, The Bad Batch, are imminently getting their own TV series. So it makes me wonder if Delta Squad or other barely canon characters are going to be getting the spotlight in the near future. So, there's a prediction that came right. I was not really expecting, at this point in the show, I wasn't really, well, I'm not going to say I wasn't expecting, but I had sort of kind of forgotten about that. So, yeah, Scorch. That was awesome. It was really cool to see him in this episode, even if it was just briefly and he didn't say anything, as I think it's definitely he wasn't written into the script when they were in production. They realized, oh wait, we've got an opportunity to throw in a cameo here, so they probably chose Scorch at random and put him in that scene where he's running around with the proto stormtroopers. So, yeah, that was pretty dang cool. I really got a kick out of that, seeing Scorch. And considering where this episode left off, I think it's definitely possible that we see more of him in the next couple episodes, since this is obviously a part 1 of like 3 or whatever. So. Yeah, that aside, this was a really good episode. This is one of those episodes that just has all of the good stuff, as opposed to last week, which again, last week wasn't horrible. It wasn't great either, but it wasn't horrible. It was just kind of I'm not going to call it a meandery mission. Like I said, I'm pretty sure that Deveronian guy is going to come back at some point, but this episode definitely had, all the juicy stuff that I really like about this show, where it's, the very quickly the Empire is taking shape. The Empire that we know is taking shape. Now they have introduced the TK numbers as opposed to the CT numbers. I am curious about what the TK number means, because we know CT means clone trooper, duh, but we've never known what TK means. I wonder if George ever knew what TK meant, or if he just threw that in as a random designator. So I'm curious to see if they explain what TK means. But yeah, we have early proto stormtroopers here. Well, hold on, War Mantle. The name of the episode, isn't that Project War Mantle? Isn't that what Tarkin assigned Rampart to work on? So yeah, this is all part of Project War Mantle. I'd forgotten about that until just now. So yeah, we have our early stormtroopers. They've even got new armor, very Ralph McQuarrie inspired-esque designs. Just basically using the original stormtrooper designs there's that famous image of the stormtrooper holding a lightsaber in the corridor of the Death Star with other stormtroopers running up to back him up, back when everyone was going to get a lightsaber and it didn't, and before it was, just the weapon of a Jedi. So I thought it was really cool to see the proto stormtrooper design. I don't think that this is a design that's going to get a whole lot of use. It's probably this is our prototype armor. We're going to test that on these guys, and then we'll make modifications as needed, and that's how we get our stormtrooper design that we're used to. And then maybe, so I am curious how many episodes this armor is going to stick around. Like, if this show is multiple seasons, the next couple episodes is really going to, okay, this is definitely a multi-season show. We're like, oh nope, that was it. That was fun. I enjoyed that. We'll have to see. At this point, I'm kind of feeling like this is a multi-season show. I'm really kind of feeling that. They haven't really made a blanket statement about that yet, but I'm kind of getting the feeling that this is going to be multiple seasons. I could be wrong though. So yeah, then maybe next season, if there is one, first couple episodes, it's like, oh hey, they've updated their armor again, and it's like that's the stormtrooper design that we know. Even down to the sound design for the V-wings, they were sounding a lot like TIE fighters, because in prior episodes they had been using the Vulture Droid engine noise, that kind of noise, all the way from the Phantom Menace. Now they're sounding straight up. They're TIE fighters now. That's the sound design that they're using. So, yeah, a lot of Imperial iconography and stuff going around in this episode, which was really cool. Especially the Imperial motif from A New Hope being used, that dun 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 dun, that really only ever got used in A New Hope, and then has since then started finally getting used in other places, so it doesn't feel out of place in A New Hope when it doesn't appear at all in the rest of the original trilogy. It got used in Rogue One. I think it got used in Rebels a bit. It definitely got used in Rebels a bit. And then now here in Bad Batch. So it's good to hear that theme back. And then speaking of the Empire, kind of continuing to build itself up. Lama Su's dead, right? Pretty sure Lama Su's dead now. Because yeah, we didn't hear a blast, but typically, whenever two people with guns go into a room with an unarmed person on the inside and the doors close, and then you cut to the next scene, I don't think they were arresting him. I'm going to say that. So I'm pretty positive that Lama Su is dead. So we may not get that Camino uprising after all that people were hoping for. I mean, who knows? Maybe we do. Maybe we do get that. Maybe Nala Se. There we go. I wanna call her Kosai just because of my knowledge of the Republic Commando novels, and in the EU, Kosai was kind of the Nala Se, where it seems like Nala Se seems to be the canon. She's the person in charge of all this stuff, but it was Kosai in the EU. Well, before she fled Camino to be tracked down in Book 3 of Republic Commando, so because of that, I keep wanting to call her Kosai, but that's not correct. It's Nala Se. So I don't know. Maybe Nala Se will instigate the clone rebellion against the Empire or something. I mean, I'm still very curious about Nala Se's loyalties and stuff, because like, is she? I mean, I'm so curious about her and her motivations. Is that, she had Tonwi killed. Now, I'm kind of curious if she tipped off the Empire. It's like Rampart's like, oh yes, we found this one gathering medical personnel and stuff, and blah blah blah. We hoped you would be cooperative, Lama Su and stuff like that. But I mean, did they catch her, or is that what they were telling Lama Su, and she actually tipped them off? I'm curious about that, because I wasn't quite certain about the looks she was giving Lama Su there in his office. I guess you can call it an office. It's just kind of a big white room that has a chair. It's not really a desk or anything, but anyway. So yeah, I'm guessing next episode is going to be let's try to break out Hunter, and then maybe that'll be a one and done episode, and then we'll all be back together for the finale. Or Hunter is not able to be rescued next episode, and then they're going to have to get him in the season finale. So I mean, this is one of those shows where it's like, I don't know what's going to happen next. Sometimes I can kind of read the tea leaves, see where things are going, and kind of be able to predict. But I'm not really so sure where this one's going. So I'm kind of intrigued about that. So yeah. Of course, we saw Gregor again. That was nice. He's kind of in between where we saw him in Clone Wars and where we saw him in Rebels. So he's not completely cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs yet, but he's getting there. His voice is already a little higher pitched. It's already a little different. So obviously that explosion did a number on him. He's a little weirder than he was in Clone Wars, but he's not completely off the deep end quite yet, where he's got the spinning eyes and the crazed laugh and everything, and he's still able to kind of keep it together for the most part. Don't really think I have too much else to say. I mean, this was just a solid episode. A lot of A lot of good action, a lot of good suspense, interesting plot developments. Crosshair now has one of the Bad Batch, which is what he's been going after. So I wonder. So that feeds back into my whole. It's like what's going to happen next episode. So I wonder if he's going to try to use Hunter as bait next episode. That would be interesting. There's my one use of the word interesting today. If I haven't used it already, I may have. I don't know. I am curious to see if we are we going to get more of this Imperial base or again, does Crosshair use Hunter as bait, and so then the next couple episodes take place elsewhere? It's like, does it take place? Will some episodes take place on Camino? I don't know. I mean, like a whole episode take place on Camino, uprising, clone uprising, and stuff. Well, no, that's a thought. So going back to the whole will Nala Se instigate the clone rebellion on Camino? It's like how would that work? It would make sense, I think, if the Kaminoans put, it's like they have the inhibitor chips in the clones already. So that way they can execute Order 66 as per the client's orders. But I think it would also maybe make sense that to ensure their own safety, if they have, execute Order 001 in there, and then the clones with the inhibitor chips, then they all turn against whoever they're supposed to be loyal to, and then now they're just loyal to the Kaminoans. And then the Kaminoans have an instant army on their hands in case their client turns against them, like the Empire is sort of kind of turning against them. Of course, they're not the Republic anymore, so the Empire doesn't have any contracts with Camino, but the Republic did, blah, 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 all that semantical stuff. So that might be the basis for the Clone Rebellion this time around. And imagine they're still on Camino and or they're even elsewhere. There's still a lot of clone troopers. And Rampart is like, all right, troops, execute. And then Nala Se just interrupts with Order 1. And then all the clones go, yes, mistress. And, they turn their blasters on Rampart and Crosshair and anyone that calls himself. Well, hold on. No. Crosshair would probably, because of his inhibitor chip, and, he would probably be on the Kaminoan side. So it's like all of a sudden they're no longer Imperial. Now they're Kaminoan troops. That would be, I wonder if I've cracked the code here. I wonder if maybe I've just made a prediction. So it's like, what was that I was just saying about not knowing where this is going? I was like, maybe I do now. Maybe I've just figured something out. That is, if they are going with the Clone Rebellion storyline. And who knows, maybe that's going to be, something that's going to be featured in Season 2. And, Season 1 is kind of the lead up to that. And we'll see more of that next season. So at this point, I think we need to start placing bets on who else is going to show up, because we've had Scorch, we've had Gregor, Proto Stormtroopers from Ralph McQuarrie. So who else? Are we going to get Boba Fett? We're going to get young Boba Fett. Ahsoka, maybe. I mean, if Ahsoka and I could see Ahsoka and Rex popping up at like the last 3 minutes, the last episode of the season, and go, hey, yeah, we're working on this thing called a rebellion. Are you in? And then maybe the Bad Batch is in, maybe they're not. Maybe they're early, very, very early Fulcrum agents alongside Ahsoka. Who knows? Will Bail Organa show up? Because we know he was operating as one of the early cell heads during the rebellion. So I don't know. I feel like it's like, and like with Rebels, are we going to get the last episode and it's like Rampart's like, oh, I'm so sorry that everything kind of went wrong here, and Tarkin's like, not to worry, we now have another agent working for us that will have the situation soon under control. And then here comes Vader walking off the shuttle and then credits, it's like, it would actually be really funny if they just straight up repeat that from Rebels. I don't think they will. I don't think Vader's going to be in this show. I mean, they have the model, so why not? If Vader shows up, I don't think he's going to be like an active participant in anything like he was in Rebels. I think it's going to be more or less he shows up like via hologram, or it's like, you better not fail us again, or I'll force choke you out a window, or something. It's going to be something like that. I don't think he's going to be like an active participant. He's going to be someone dictating orders, and that'll be about it. So yeah, And it's so funny. It's just like you think, so far the show has been, oh, who do you think is going to show up? And people, throw out this answer, throw out that answer, and then someone else shows up. Hondo's going to show up at some point, right? I mean, he's gotta, right? With Sid's underground contacts, and it's like, could we go to floor him? I mean, I've been saying this for a long while. It's like, maybe we'll see Hondo's. So at this point, we need like a bingo card of returning characters that could show up in future episodes. So we will, of course, keep a weather eye on that and see who shows up. So yeah, I think I'm pretty much done now. So thank you for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Remember to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Those links are in the description below. And I will see you guys next time. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.